Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, we're deep into June now. June's practically done. Before we know it,
Well,
big events will be here. How you feeling about that?
yeah. I mean, June has certainly started. We're finishing up that first week, but yeah, got some stuff coming up in this month, so I think time will kind of fly by. But yeah, it seems like other than rain still, we're like a consistent summer now.
And it hasn't even officially been like when is the first day of summer? Like there's
I mean, there's like
quote.
summer solstice, but I think that's like July.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's I'm hoping it doesn't fly by. I I worry that I have so many like little events on my schedule now, like a bunch of concerts, my walk, events for the gym, and if that's going to make it go by faster because May was jam packed, like there was
Yeah.
something going on every weekend, and I kind of feel like May flew by and faster than normal. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen with the summer. Like, is there some kind of like a trade off there? Like, all right, hey, you're doing a lot, but it's going to make it feel like it goes by way faster, especially as you start checking off the events.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I don't know if it's like a also in just like a temperament thing of like who we are as people, or like if it's connected to gym related things, but I don't know if it's like maybe we're too task oriented and we kind of are just always thinking about the next thing that makes it go by that fast, and maybe we should be like slowing down the in betweens.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing, where I'm just jumping from one event to the next, even if they are in close proximity, like the second one event is over, I'm like, okay, the next thing is this, and I need this and this time, and maybe it's like the brain just needs to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I just went to a concert last Tuesday, and when I was there, I was like, I was just trying to force myself to be even more in the moment. Like, let me like it's weird how you have to almost like you're there because you want to be there and you are enjoying it, but you have to like force yourself to like really like slow down your mind. I'm like, no, no,
Yeah.
no. Don't think about what you have to do tomorrow. Don't think about the drive home or XYZ. Just like right now, like take in this song, look at each, musician, what they're doing and stuff like that. Because then it really does become like a all right, that concert's done, check the box, go home, and
Yeah.
and like on to the next one, and then you're just more like just trying to check them off the list as opposed to have experienced each one of them. Um, and we could boil that down even to like classes, right? Like a CrossFit class. Some people they get so busy, their schedules are crazy, and they come into the gym and then they're like, all right, it's time for me to go. I got to get out of here. I got to do the next thing. It's like, yeah, but you should like just like put your phone away. Like if someone's busy on their phone, we've had plenty of members like that. It's like, just let this be your time right now. Focus on
Right.
that squat, your next set, things like that. Take in the coaching feedback instead of like having your mind still racing. All right, I got to go to the grocery store after. Like, so it's like, I know a lot of people who do that, and I'm definitely one to do that. So I'm trying to like that's my deal going into the summer. It's like let's slow it down, even though there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I would even say like at run club, or even when I'm running by myself, I've been trying to like stick around for the cool down. And that's the important part too. Of like sometimes you have to wind down from the thing that you just did. And maybe that's like a lost art in not just working out, but when you go from one event and then you're automatically on that like higher operating level of like event, and then you're already thinking about the next one, it's like you just keep on adding instead of like letting yourself slowly let down and like decompress and all of that and then get going again. um so I'm trying my best to like get moments of like, that moment's over. Don't think about the next one yet. Finish off this one.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's over in like this time frame doesn't mean like the next thing has started yet. Let this thing kind of peter out.
And it's funny, like that the cooldown at the end, that's where you're more likely going to make additional connections. You might make a new friend that way. That's the social, like a guaranteed social element part of it. Like
Yeah.
we end most barbell clubs foam rolling, but a lot of it's just talking too. It's like, all right, moving on to the next thing. But that's really it's just to wind everyone down and just we're on the floor but it's a social part of it. I mean, the whole barbell club's very social, but like that part is like, all right, anything else, like get it out there.
Yeah.
But it's an important part of the training and of anything that you do. It's like, all right, it's kind of like when people leave like a concert early and and then I'm like, that they're about to play, the thing, like that's really like we've waited all this time and like you're just trying to get to your car earlier so you can like not wait in traffic or the parking garage, whatever, for an extra 5 minutes. Like, what are you sacrificing here?
Right.
Like, does it really matter? Like you're acting like if you don't get to your car right away, it's going to delay you getting home by hours or something. And it's really not that. And it's kind of the same thing when people speed too. It's like you've seen the things where they're like, you're only going to gain X amount of time and it's not worth it. It's not worth your life, or someone else's life, on what you would gain. What you really needed to do was leave earlier in that situation, but so it's just people think that they're gaining more than they actually are, and they're sacrificing kind of a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's with every little thing like that, the gym, parties, social gatherings, events that you go to. Like if I paid to go to the event, I'm going to be there until they're waving goodbye on the stage.
Yeah.
Because I paid for that wave. This wave, they're waving to me. So it's just an interesting thing that I've been thinking about. And then going at this slower pace is also like kind of helping me evaluate what needs improvement. Because if you're just like rush, it's kind of hard to focus on like the little things like that. And with the summer coming up, I've noticed like, well, my hydration has been garbage, like not what it should be. So I'm starting a new routine now where first thing in the morning, no tea. I've been doing tea for a while. I'm just going to have one of these guys. This is like, I think like 30 ounces, 32 ounces, something like that, of water and an element in there. So I want to start my day with water, and I got some element in there. Just bam, right off the start, got the electrolytes in. I only do one element a day, and then now that I have it out, I'm kind of like I find myself carrying it around more and filling it during the day. Like as soon as it gets low, I refill it, and I'm like, oh, this is what people do with these, because it's if I just leave it in my cupboard and use it only like something like this, I would use if like I'm going traveling or something. Like I don't view it as my day to day, and for some reason, being with this consistently during the day at home is different than if I have a glass. I don't know why.
Right.
I'm compelled to refill it and keep drinking it. So it's been nice, and I definitely feel better. I feel different. So that was like one of my weak points where I'm like, I am not drinking enough. Like it gets to the end of the day and I'm walking over to a gym and it's like hot out on some days, and I'm like, oh, I've not drank enough water today. And now, so that sometimes you need little nudges like that too. Do you have any quote weak points or little things that you've changed to kind of like improve things going into this next season of the summer?
I mean, there's definitely things that I'm starting to identify with I mean, there's like the classics of like going to bed earlier, like waking up, and my big thing I think has been like actually getting up and getting out of bed. So I guess I was attacking it from the way of all right, just try to get to bed earlier and whatever. But that wasn't necessarily the correlation. Because I could get 8 hours, I could get 6 hours, 5 hours. But the problem was like I was waking up and just like not moving.
Mm.
Um, so it's like something small that I want to do is like get a morning routine. That's like not just get up and start getting ready for work, because that's the reason why I'm not moving. Because like I don't, that's not enough motivation for me to like,
Yeah.
all right, starting a new day, let's go to work. So yeah, I don't know if it's like giving myself time or like giving myself something to do in the morning that isn't like work related. Like, I mean, there were even times where it's get up and stretch, but again, when you make everything kind of like a job, it makes it a little bit harder. So I'm trying to like add some fun to the morning. Like,
Yeah.
I was looking and like people were like, yeah, I watch cartoons in the morning, like back when I was a kid, and that's been helping my morning routine. So I think I might try something like that out to just like get me wanting to be up and like moving around in the morning instead of like immediate rush to get to work.
Yeah. And you have to, I mean, that's always part of the challenge is how do I make this so crazy easy and also enjoyable that I cannot fail, that it's almost
Right.
like cheating. And you've heard me say this before where it's like you should try to cheat your way to achieving your goals in a way that it's like someone's like, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I can. I made it crazy easy. I made it
Yeah.
impossible for me to fail. And I've already done that with like my eating since March. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to order these meals. My fridge is literally empty. There's nothing in the door. There's nothing in the main body except heavy cream and then the two meals I have to frosting for each day. So if someone were to open my fridge, they'd be like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "Success." There's nothing in there that's wasted money, that's going bad, or anything else like that, or that maybe isn't aligned with my goals.
Yeah.
And with the hydration, I'm, even though I'm doing paleo for the meals and stuff, you can get little flavored packets, like I like to buy the little Arnold Palmer packets. Well, that's not paleo, but like, hey, I didn't say I was trying to be perfect. I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm trying to be successful. So if putting an element first thing in the morning makes the water and drinking in the morning more appealing, then if I pop in one of those Arnold Palmer things when I walk to the gym, if that keeps me drinking it, hey, I'm making it easy for myself, because plain water
Yeah.
can get boring after a while. Um, so yeah, something like that, like cartoons, reading, like it doesn't have to be work. It can be something that you enjoy to do.
Yeah.
I recently saw a video Kelly Starrett put out about getting up in the morning, and he said like, all right, if you're someone who gets up, you wake up and you're all stiff and everything, like your joints hurt, things like that. It's sometimes it's worse to just like pop up out of bed and stand up and start moving around. So like if you're laying in bed, like you could stretch in bed or like do like a bunch of foot circles and flex your toes and move your knees around. And he said what you're doing in that situation is you're just giving your body a heads up. Hey, I'm gonna move here soon. So like let's work this out now. And whenever you're laying down like that, you are more at rest. Your body's chill. There's no crisis yet. Like I'm sure you've experienced this when you've had like crazy sore legs. You're laying in bed. All right, maybe you feel that when you're laying in bed, but like let's say your normal aches and pains. When you go to get up, you're like, oh gosh, there it is, right? But when you're laying down, you don't always feel that because you're like in a safe position. So if you start moving around and wiggling around and just roll side to side and move your arms around there, your body's like, oh, hey, he's moving. And then you go to get up and now you're weight bearing. Now you warmed up for getting up. It's a funny thing we don't
Yeah.
think about, like warming up to getting up to get up out of bed. But when you get older, I feel like it's going to be more of a thing, like I'm 39, about to be 40. You're in your 30s, right? Early
29.
20. All right, so you're about to be. So we're both on the cusp of a new decade. Um, when you're 70, I'm pretty sure I'm not popping right up out of bed. You know, it makes sense to like give your body a heads up, kind of a deal.
Yeah. And like if you've done like massages and stuff, a lot of times they'll even tell you like to roll on your side first
Yep.
after a massage before you get up, because the body doesn't, like, I remember that we were doing like massages when we were in India, and every time they would be like, don't just sit up, even though like you have that strength in your body, the like core strength and whatever, and that's good to have. Like, you got to give your body a chance to like adjust and feel everything before you just because we can doesn't mean like we should.
Yeah.
Like, I could literally jump out of bed in the morning, but it's, yeah, you're like shocking your body awake instead of like giving it something. It's, I mean, it's the same thing with like alarms versus just allowing the sun to wake you up, where it's like we're so used to like the jolt of like, all right, get up, get moving, where it should be a more natural, like, allow things to move in the pace that they do in the morning.
Yeah. That reminds me. I've like times I've had my window open and then you wake up. Like I've been like in the past, not recently, like mad at like some bird, outside the window. But it's like that's nature's alarm clock. That's actually way more
Yeah.
gentle and like real than like the like but now I'm fine with it. And like it's funny, it's like once I accepted it, I can actually sleep with it going on now. Like they don't
Right.
bother me now. They're just like just like the wind and the tree, like this ambient natural noise. And I'm like, oh, I could do this. But if they start leaf blowing outside, all right, no, that's not the same.
Right. Yeah.
But so it's like so how so like I typically try to find tiny weak points that I need to improve upon, just based on feel. Like not everything has to be metrics based. That's I feel like that's when we start to like get a little too crazy with it. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, what are these numbers? Like, do we have statistics? All right, and then what are the circumstances around it? Like, what else weren't you doing? So I just try to go by feel, and then all right, after a few days, how do I feel now? So how do you address little weak points? If it's something like, oh, I'm not drinking enough water, so I'm going to develop this strategy to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you're saying. And I think we've talked about it in terms of like goals as well. Like quarterly, I would like check in with myself. But I mean, at this point, I'm also doing like, I still do my smaller ones of like week to week and just going, what am I feeling and why? Like, is everything good? Are there things that I feel like weren't good, and why is that? Um, and yeah, I think that's kind of just the best way by feel. I think metrics are just that. Um, Even like with my training now, I've been thinking about like, oh, getting in this amount of days of running or this many miles, but it's not really that, at least at the level that I'm doing it as a newer sport, like that's not as important. And they're kind of just arbitrary. Because there's so many other things that I'm doing that also like don't add in, or like that wouldn't be in typical triathlon training anyway. So yeah, I've just been taking inventory and like feel and like, do I feel like I trained enough this week? And like, if not, what things was I missing? Or do I feel like I overdid it this week? And why did I feel like I need to do that? And yeah, I think it's smaller things. And I've said the thing with like, that's why I grabbed so many element on Friday as well, where it's like that was definitely something that I knew I needed to get back on, just by how I was feeling like during training, after training, just throughout the day, is just like taking inventory after a week of training, or even like a couple days, and feeling like, oh, I've been really sluggish these past couple days. What have I been doing and what have I been missing?
Yeah. Yeah, my spidey senses on the element kind of kicked in. Like, because I've been wanting to put more element in the candy box for a while, but that candy box is overflowing and they're little
Yeah.
packets. So I was like, you know what? All right, let me just bring the bag over there. I'll let them take it. And then unfortunately, no one came to the 4 o'clock class that day on Friday. So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna I'm gonna reorganize that candy bin, to try to
Mhm.
fit everything in there. But like it's I think going by feel is so important because it's kind of like like I said, like you wake up in the morning, you give your body a heads up. This is what I'm planning on doing, and things feel a little better. Uh, but then you also need to like ask your body and ask yourself, how are things doing? And numbers on a spreadsheet don't always reflect that. And that's why, let's say if you have a quote bad training session, that doesn't really it's something to take note of, but that's not the overall picture. That's just the result. That's not what got you there, and it doesn't mean it's a bad thing either. Sometimes training doesn't feel the same every day, and maybe it could be something as simple as making a small tweak, like starting the day differently. Like you might start the day with, all right, you know what, I'm gonna watch cartoons from one of my favorite shows from back in the day. Just and what are you doing? You're starting the day on a lighter tone, on a happy
Yeah.
note, instead of like, gosh, that deadline's due today and they haven't emailed me back and I'm getting text messages already and it's all stressful. Hey, save that for when you walk in there. But like at least you start off, and when you're at your desk, you're like, boy, Tom really got Jerry today. Whatever it is that you were
Right.
watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can just like fall back on that. Today I was like, you know what? I don't know why I stopped, but I want to start making my bed, again. I go through phases where I do that. And
Yeah.
when I did that today, and then also kind of with the water, I've noticed it's because of the regional. Like it always happens around those. I had fallen back into the habit of getting up and I'm going right here. Like I got stuff to do. I gotta get to these emails. I gotta make sure I got spreadsheets. I got my to-do lists and stuff. Instead of spending the 15 minutes to like do like everything else and just like instead it's just this is the first thing that's happening. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Like, how about the first thing that happens is, I do a little light stretching. I literally just have to flap out the blanket and the bed is made, and like, let's do this. Let's delay getting over here. And now like things don't get skipped that way. And you,
Right.
you focus more on your own self-care because you can't do the big thing if if you're not feeling 100% because you've skipped a lot of corners to only focus on the big thing. Um, same thing in training. So yeah, the it's just you have to build up those routines. Even building up a routine for recreation. Do you do that?
Um.
And we can't count the gym anymore really as recreation because you're
Oh
doing
no. Yeah.
competitions and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would. Mm, I was talking to someone this weekend because I ended up going out Friday night, which just like a friend texted me at like the perfect time where I was like just got out the shower after the gym, like I'll go out because I haven't seen people outside of like a scheduled, event in a while. Um but I've also been looking into that, as you know, like I do like my concerts and I'll see people and I'll do all that. I've been working on getting things in my calendar, and trying to not have them just be the big events where like I have to travel and do this and that, but looking at like, okay, I train during these times. Um, I think me and my friends have been good because Barbell Club was really the only thing that was ever on my schedule. So it was clearly like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, these times, and we would just work around it. But now I have something every single day after work. So I've been
I mean, that gets
working on
exhausting
getting,
every single day after work.
yeah. But the thing is, it's like you need the other things because work is just work. And yeah, eventually you're like, oh, all I'm doing is work or training related work. So I think it's just as important to schedule like the work, the exercise, to scheduling like breaks for yourself or recreation or meeting up with friends because yeah, if everything is just work and that's the only thing you're like focusing on, that's when you get the like burnout. And you know that's the thing that gets you off your path because you're like, well, this week I need a break, and then you're off your routine and then it's hard to get back into it. So Yeah, I think it's just as important to schedule, like, even like, hey, for these 2 hours after you're done meal prepping or something, sit down and don't do, or like put your phone away or whatever, or use your phone for a scheduled amount of time, but don't have it related to like training videos and, planning out the next thing. Just relax or just sit down, just read, just whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I totally get that. Like if you go to a concert, it might start to feel like a chore if you're like, you're not there enjoying the moment and all that stuff. And then also you're just like, all right, now you're right back into work, or like, all right, I'm going to do some work and then I'm going to go to that drive out there, spend the night, whatever, come back, right back to work. And you need to, it's kind of like when people go on a vacation, they need a vacation from their vacation because
Right.
it was too heavily itineraried. It's like, no, just go and like, don't over stress about things, and for me, one thing that I really enjoyed doing, and I was doing it all last year and the first half of this year, was going to the movies. I have the Regal app, and I can walk right over there. It's how I get my steps. And admittedly, the cold, like I was like, I'm not leaving the house. Like, so like we just had that extended chill. So that's kind of like my excuse. I'm like, oh, no, I'm just not going outside. I just don't want to walk out there.
Right.
And recently I was like, you know what? Like Thursday feels like the perfect day. It's my lightest day. I coach one class and I do a lot of my admin work on that day, but it's not like, I shouldn't be waking up on a Thursday, jumping right up out of bed and just coming right down with my coffee right here, or tea at the computer and start hammering away on things. And I was like, it'd be better. What if Thursday is my dedicated movie day? Like if there's one day I'm going to go, let me go on that day. And then other days are bonus. But Thursday morning,
Yeah.
10 a.m. showings, 11 a.m. showings, that's still going to give me so much time before I go coach my class to do all that I need to
Right.
do. And then there's also time afterwards, So I'm committing to Thursday being my movie day. And that's me scheduling in, hey, because this job that I have is kind of 24/7. It's really
Yeah.
hard to turn it off. It's all the time. So it's like that's an hour and a half or 2 hours of like the phone is definitely off and I'm not on a screen. I'm looking at a big screen, but like I enjoy being there. It's a nice dark. I'm like, this is a perfect way to kind of start a Thursday, and
Yeah.
because like by the time you get to Thursday, you can kind of start to be burnt out from the week because Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are big days. So it's like, let me start winding down kind of for the week on Thursday and watch a movie, and then I get to do my thing on Letterbox and I get to rate it and stuff like that,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So it's like scheduling recreation, and it can be kind of a consistent thing. It doesn't have to. Recreation shouldn't be a reward, a once in a while treat that you get, right? Like, oh, I'm going to the gym all the time and I got my job. And for most of us listening, it's probably those two things: gym, which starts to become like a second job a little bit the deeper you go, and then your job, whatever that might be. So
Yep.
those things are always on the schedule. Why? So you can't count the gym anymore as pure recreation. Why can't you schedule consistent chill time like that? Like you're saying and
Yeah.
I'm saying. It actually might make your training better.
Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, just how you can like, no, you can start resent your job and like get bitter and burnt out and stuff. It's like the same thing can happen with training, especially when you're not seeing the results that you want all the time, and you have there's so much to do, and you don't maybe realize right away the compounding effect of all of life's things. Like your outside the gym job might actually affect your inside the gym job,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So if you have like that little like couple hour chill time that you schedule during the week, um, and then there's the weekend too, which I don't know. It almost seems too long to wait anymore. 5 days to get two
Right.
days, and because then if you lose one of those days, now you're kind of like, all right, and I've done this before, and I've said this on the podcast before. All right, I get a full weekend in 4 weekends, so
Yep.
that that sucks to think about it that way. It's like, take a Thursday, take a
Yeah.
Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what was happening for me, where because my weekdays are so filled, I was going like, well, Saturdays are my free day, but it's like I start Saturdays off with swimming, and then I want to get like a run or like a longer run in also. But then I'm like, yeah, and then with whatever free time I have left, like that's when I'll do whatever and just like relax. But then like I'll have an event on a Saturday afternoon or something that I have to like travel for, or even not, or it's just like a few hours gone. And then I still have to hit my swim. If I have time, I'll run. And then that like free recreation time then turns into the event thing. And then if I'm not using my weekdays effectively for like daily recreation or daily like decompressing, then when I have something on the weekend, that time is completely gone. So I didn't use it up 5 days because I'm waiting on the two, and then something happens during the two, and then I have none for the week. And then yeah, that's how it kind of gets you.
Yeah. And then I've fallen into this trap, and I did so earlier this year. The thought of going to the movies, which I really enjoy, and that's like the easy recreation, you start to devalue it. You're like, well, that's going to cost me time. You know,
Yeah.
like I was complaining about long movies. I complain about long movies all the time. Like, and I was like, Project Hail Mary, it's like almost 3 hours or something like that. I'm like, I can't sacrifice that 3 hours right now. You
Right.
know, and it's like I totally could. I just don't want to because I'm we're imbalanced right now. The work is too much. You know, and then you kind of get stuck in that rut, and you're like, no, 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 I won't go to that concert. No, 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 I won't go out with my friends. Like your friend sends you a message, and you're like, no, that means that you start doing the math. That means I'm going to get home at X time, and blah blah blah. And
Right.
it's like you can't play that game. It's a game you can't win. You know, it just takes away from everything. You know, so this is my way of getting out of that rut. And it's funny. It's like I went to the movies yesterday too. So it's like all of a sudden the door is back open. I'm like, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
is easy. And
Hmm.
sometimes you have to remind yourself that too, because all right, one thing, it was cold out, but I start thinking about the totality of the time. Well, I got to get ready and get dressed. I want to make sure I eat before I go to the movies. Then I got to walk over there. How long is that going to take? It literally I think it takes me about 5 or 6 minutes to get from here into the physical theater. So it's
Mm.
not long, but in my head, it starts to like feel like, "Oh, this is going to be an all day thing. And then what
Yep.
time am I going to have left? Um, and you just can't do that. Even with like a local concert I just went to, I was like, what time am I going to get out? And I'm like, James, it doesn't matter. Shower
Right.
before, then when you get home, the evening is better, and you're not driving 3 hours back. It's 15 minutes away. What are you talking about?
Right.
Which I will
Yeah.
say, downtown Albany at 11 o'clock at night it's kind of like the back rooms. Like there was no one out on the street. It's completely dead and creepy. What a creepy little city at night. Like, have you been alone in Albany downtown near Times Union or MVP Arena, and there's no one else around?
Yeah, that spot specifically. I mean, they used to have like that's a little bit up more, but like City Beer Hall used to be like a place that was going on, but I think downtown Albany definitely now, like post COVID, it's funny because I mean, they are mostly like government type buildings around there.
Yeah,
So I guess it makes sense that on the weekend, nothing's really going on. But it's like such a large space to have, like you said, like nothing's really going on. They have like the bus station that's like
yeah.
around there, and that's
Well,
really
this
it.
was this was a
But
Tuesday night.
oh, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like the concert got out, and I stayed behind to wait in the merch line, and I was near the end.
Mm,
And then so they're all and the people that were there were kind of like chilling and hanging out. And then I left, and I
yeah,
walked up onto the main road there, and I looked down, and there's not even cars, Miguel. Like
mm,
not even cars driving around. I was walking down the street, and like one bus went by. Otherwise, it was just me. And I was
yeah,
like, this. it is kind of cool too. It's not like it's weird that no one else is around, but I was like, this is like what it must be like in like those movies where you're the last man alive or something like
Yeah,
that, you know.
yeah,
I'm like, but the only thing is I can't like break into that window and explore what's inside. That's the only thing,
right.
because then I will get arrested. But it's like it was just so surreal to like every which way, you know, nothing is going on.
Hmm.
So interesting thing, but um, you gotta take the time. You gotta flesh out your weak points, and then I think another big thing in all of this, to like whether it be life improvement, athletic improvement, you know, XYZ, a career improvement, you can't get hung up on it being perfect. Like, you know, like there and you can't let that throw you off. Like every training day is going to be completely different, you know, and there's so many factors that go into why it was or wasn't quote perfect, and then you have to figure out, do I even have a definition for perfect? Like what is perfect? When I get upset that something didn't go the way I wanted it to, what did I expect it to go to in the beginning, right? Like
Yeah,
sometimes people come to the gym and they're like, yeah, well, I had to scale or I had to do this. I was like, yeah, but look at all that you accomplished on the way here. You got to the gym. You know, you worked a full day, got in your car and came here instead of home and collapsing on your couch. You know,
yeah,
like so, and what did you have to do at work and what's going on and your family, all that stuff. So it's like it doesn't it won't be perfect too. I think it's an unrealistic expectation for it to be perfect. But sometimes people kind of get hung up on that, and that's where negative, you know, thoughts can kind of pop up. I was having this conversation with an athlete at the gym, Nyla. She's on a pull-up program, and she was like, you know, I'm just beat up. I'm not feeling it. And I was like, cool, just do what you can do or what you would want to do. Like if you look at the program and you're like, all right, 100 banded face pulls, I actually like doing those. Maybe that's the only thing you do that day. It's still putting you forward towards the ultimate goal, but it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to feel good every single time. You know, we know that in weightlifting the hard way. You know, it's like
yeah,
you
yeah,
might come in stretches at a time and you're like, I forgot how to snatch. I can't do this anymore, you know. But like you have to look at all you accomplished before that. You got in and you picked up the bar. That's better than everybody who didn't, you know. And there are a lot of people that didn't. So it's like you can't expect it to be one way all the time, and it won't always feel good. And then what does good feel like?
yeah, yeah. Agreed. I think, like you said, we've had so much time in barbell club now, so many years into it, that when it comes to lifting, I think we already have that knowledge of like, yeah, even throughout a cycle, like even if at the end your numbers do improve, you might have stretches within the cycle where you're just like, this is bad. Like I don't know how this is going to turn out. Like you go, sometimes you're just low energy, sometimes things are just off, you feel bad. And we're kind of at a stage of knowing that that's a part of the process, at least with weightlifting. And I've been trying to take that into other things as well, even though it feels a little bit different because you don't have as much time in it. So, like with my triathlon training, some weeks I'll have a bad week of training where I just feel bad and slow and things aren't clicking the way that they should. But I have to think about the knowledge that I have from weightlifting where, yeah, some weeks it's just not gonna feel great, but it's all a part of the like total that will come from it at the end of it. Because yeah, like you said, even though it's not perfect, it's still something. And if you took away that full week of training and you just did nothing, that's worse than having bad training days, like by far. So that's how I've been
Yeah.
trying to look at it as well. Just like a bad training day is better than no training day.
Yeah. Um, there's for the majority of the time, I still scale my core workouts heavily. You know, hollow body, hollow rock stuff comes up. I spend the most of my time tucked, and I'm like, I've developed a pretty good full hollow body, but there's so many days where I'm like, don't got it today, don't got, because like it's every day. So it's like you can't have it every day. So it's like I have to pick my battles. I'm like, yeah, no, or maybe my schedule got off and I'm doing it later in the day than I want to. I'm like, all right, I just gotta check this box. I just gotta get
Yeah.
this done, and get it with the good quality I can. But it's like that getting pull-ups, weightlifting, the training you're doing right now for the triathlon, like no one said any of these things were easy or easily obtainable, especially what things that are like progressive with weightlifting. It's like, great, you got that 100 kilo snatch you were looking for. 101 is going to be the next stretch. 102,
Yeah.
so it's like no one said it was going to be easy. It's these are all hard things. So you have to like tell yourself you're doing a hard thing that a lot of people wouldn't do or wouldn't want to do, and you can see from everybody around you that the progress just doesn't, like, it'd be one thing if we lived in like a bizarro multiverse world where like all of a sudden you see people just crazy success all the time and PRing
Yeah.
left and right. But like you're the one that doesn't, then I could say, all right, you're like, hey, wait a minute. Why is everyone else like putting 5 kilos under their total in PRs every session, but I'm not, and so actually sometimes it can feel like that, right? Depending on the programming.
Yeah.
Like when we've gone through stretches where we do totals week to week and Jennifer PRs all three every single time. And then you're across the room, like not you, like you're in a general sense. You're like in the room too, and you're not PRing every week. That can kind of feel a certain way, right? Um,
Yeah.
but it's like, none of it's guaranteed stuff, and the real fruit of it is the fruit of it the PR, or is it everything that came before it and the way that shaped you and got you better?
Yeah.
We put a lot of emphasis on the final result. Like, remember, that's just how it ended. But like, how about how we got here? Like, I just watched that movie Obsession. Great movie. Like, but like the ending was one thing, and you're like, whoa, but like everything else that led up to that was also valuable. It was
Right.
all great and entertaining and scary, and everything else. So it's like sometimes we put all the weight and all the emphasis on the end result, and then when you do have a tough day, or I don't know, maybe you bomb out at a meet, does that mean that you wasted your time for all of that buildup? It really
Yeah.
doesn't. That was all valuable. All those scenes that came before, and all the training sessions, and all the prep you were doing, and then going home and prepping your food and being more mindful about things and stretching in the evenings. It was all just to put you in the best position possible on the day of for the end result. And then sport will be sport. Things happen in sport,
Yeah.
sometimes outside of your control. But that doesn't mean that it was all a waste. It doesn't mean that you need a new program, that you need a new coach, that you need a new team, or XYZ thing. It's just now maybe you can assess even better, like maybe the failure quote is the way that you can finally figure out what your weak point actually is, and then evaluate
Mhm.
that way.
Yeah. I was asked by two separate people yesterday if I enjoyed my training that I'm doing for the triathlon. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, that's the whole point. The actual date of the triathlon is more of like, I guess, the showcase for like whoever wants to see it, I guess. But the whole point is like these are skills that I'm interested in learning. Like, they're tough points and definitely things that I like more than others. But I think training is hard enough. I think you have to find some joy in it, especially when you know that you're going to have some bad days. At least you can go, well, it's good that I spent some time on a bike today. That's cool. Even if it wasn't like I didn't hit the numbers or the threshold or even the time domain. That's mostly what I'm doing is like time domains, doing things. And even if I didn't hit it, I still have to go like, all right, that's still time that I got to do this thing that I'm starting to enjoy or I already do enjoy. Yeah, it's kind of where the focus has to be because, like you said, the you could bomb out at a meet the triathlon date could get rained out or something,
Mm.
you know, and I don't get to do it that day. And then is everything for naught because, you know, that one day doesn't happen? Or is it the process leading up and kind of finding the joy in that as well?
Yeah, it's how you react to things too. Like, um, if it gets rained out and you throw a temper tantrum, you're shooting the email to the event organizers, I want my money back, blah blah, and you're like changing your internal physiology and chemistry in a negative way, and you're stressing yourself out. It's like that's not a good reaction to it. You could be like, oh, all right, nope, that makes sense. I can see the terrible weather outside. I'm glad they did that for all of our safety,
Yeah.
so that I don't get hurt out there, and I'll just sign up for the next one or do another one. Or you can look at it too, like you weren't swimming before this, right?
No.
So this is a huge skill to take an activity to take on if you weren't doing it before, that has huge ramifications, positive ones, on your health. It's
Yep.
so crazy good for you, on just like your total body moving, all your joints, the calories you're burning, everything, and also developing the skill. So like if you think like sometimes I think about all the things I'm doing, like kind of like Slumdog Millionaire, where like it's like when life asks this question, and then life's like, how do you know that? It's like, well,
Mm.
I did this this thing for a while, and it prepared me for it. So like I don't know who knows, like uh, uh, you never know like the greater detail behind what you're doing and how it might help you in the future.
Yep.
There, God forbid you could be on a ferry and it starts to sink one day, and now you're better prepared to swim to shore because of all this training you're doing. That
Yeah.
sometimes there's an end result that we don't know about,
Mm.
yet that life has put, and that's why it's good to learn new skills. And that's part of CrossFit, like learn and play new sports and do different activities. And it doesn't have to be for anything that you have planned. Life has all kinds of things planned that we don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So it's cool stuff to think about, and it's definitely in our world, an important part of like the athlete mindset, on just like and everything affects everything. It's like going back to like the reaction thing. All right, let's say a perfect example was at the Arnold that one year when your session got delayed by an hour. Like, all right, bummer, cool. But like, there's nothing we can do about it. We ain't going to go out there and speed up this next session or the session in
Mhm.
front of us and get the officials and all that stuff. So it's just, you just have to, if you react to it in a positive way, like, oh, all right, I guess I get more rest now and I get more stretching time and recovery. That's better than the athlete and the coach who are like, I can't believe this, blah, 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 blah. And they're getting all aggravated. Now they have a crappy lifting session.
Yep.
Uh, or like in like a real world thing, like, all right, I'm trying to get my steps. Oh, crap. I left my phone in my car. Oh, an opportunity for about 400 more steps, because I know how
Yeah.
many steps it's going to take. So I'm like, oh
Mm.
yeah, all right. So I have no problem if they leave my Amazon package down in the mailroom and they're supposed to bring it up here to the apartment. I'm like, well, I'm going to get my steps in. Now the elevators are still broken. That's a whole other thing. I am still bent
Yeah.
out of shape with that, but this is, but it's how you react to things, because like your emotions affect your internal chemistry, like your blood pressure and all that stuff. So like I'll see people getting upset about things and I'm just like, yeah, I know. I've been there before. We've all been there before, where like little things kind of stress you out. I don't know if you were in Barbell Club. Um, it might have been Wednesday. I might have said it Wednesday, or I might have said it Friday. I can't remember
Mm.
which day I said it. But like Alex has his running joke now of like, we're getting out at 7 o'clock. We're getting out at 7 o'clock. And then we were like doing the bar warm up, and they were talking and stuff. And then someone must have prompted us like, we gotta let's keep going. And I was like, hey, I'm fine. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not trying like to get us
Yeah.
out at a
Yeah.
certain, like, was that Friday?
I think it was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I was like, I know this work will get done between 6:15 and 8. It will. It's impossible for it to not. So I'm not trying to like
Yeah.
push us along. That's on you guys. Like I'm totally chill. But like in the past, that might have been something that stressed me out. Like, come on, we gotta keep going. Like XYZ. But then I was like, wouldn't my life be easier if I didn't try? And I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, we're we're gonna get out before 8 anyways, or at the minimum 8. There's no way we don't finish this. I'm fine with it, you know. So if you guys want to get out at 7:15, put your shoes on, like all those things. That's that. I've passed off the burden to all of you, and it feels good. It feels good.
Hmm.
Now in a
Yeah.
1 hour class, I wouldn't do that. But like this is a different animal. It's a different scenario.
Yeah, I think even like you said with the getting upset with things, and we've talked about how like work stress and how that affects training, and yeah, just trying my best to minimize all of that as much as possible and just, all right, is it going to get done? Yes. Okay. Then relax.
Yeah.
Is really what I've just been trying to at work with, because I mean I'm doing something after work every single day, and there's no worse feeling than like being upset on the way to doing something that you actually want to
Oh,
do because of the
yeah.
thing that you did before.
Yeah.
Like when your fun or hobby or whatever thing, when you go into it with a bad mood and then you do worse at the thing, or you don't enjoy the thing, not because the thing itself, but because of something before that. And
Yeah.
like just the overall stress on the body, like before training of, I've been tense this whole day, I've been upset this whole day. None of my lifts are going to go well. None of my running is going to go well because of everything before. So yeah, I've been working on that too. Like trying to relax as much as I can with work stuff as well, which I mean, you can only do what you can do. That's somewhat out of your control.
Yeah. There's gonna be limits.
What happens, but yeah.
Well, and it's like traffic, like you said, that's a great example. Something crazy happens. Someone cuts you off and whatnot. I don't get angry in traffic like anymore. Like I haven't in a very long time. If something crazy's happening, I'm just like, I wish them well, because like
Yeah.
whatever that crazy car is going through right now, it's not happening in this car. So I'm glad. It could be a couple that are arguing right now. It could be someone rushing, because they just found out their family member is ill, or their dog is having an issue. Like you don't know what's happening in that other car. I'm not going to assume that this is a slight against me. They don't know me. I don't know them. I can't even see
Yeah.
them in their car. So it's like I'm fine. And what a shame it would be that if I was going to do something and something happened in traffic and I got all angry about it, and now I'm going to carry that into the next thing, right? Like next weekend we have Frank's meet, Central New York weightlifting regional. On my 12-minute drive to the venue, if something crazy happens in traffic, all right, now I'm going to be like mad all day. And, like I got to be happy and talk on the mic and whatnot. So I'm just like, so stuff happens. I'm like, I hope they're doing all right. I wish them well,
Right.
and I'm going to continue on my way. You have to, if you can mold inconveniences to to like a positive way, you'll be chill all the time, and that'll affect the next thing that you do. Okay, they're taking a while to get you your food at the restaurant. Maybe they're slammed. Look around. Is it crazy? Like, would you like to be? And that's what I'm like. I'm glad I'm not working in that kitchen.
Right.
I've worked in crazy kitchens during rush times and stuff like that, and it sucks. So I'll just tell myself, hey, all right, the package got delayed till the next day. I'm grateful I'm not the one that has to deliver it, that I'm in a position in
Yeah.
that life, and it'll get to me when it gets to me. This is still faster than it would have ever come back in before Amazon. Because like, do you guys remember before Amazon when
Yeah.
you ordered something to take weeks? Like that's like another thing. It's like Netflix. You used to have to wait for them to mail you the disc. Like everything's gotten so easy now that we just expect it to be crazy easy. Look at the
Yep.
video I just posted in the Barbell Club group about the bar path. Like
Hmm.
that's they used to measure the bar path by taping a pen to the end of the bar, and the coach has a as tall as he is board with paper on it, and they put it up against the pen. You do the snatch, and they pull the thing away, and there's your bar path. Like
Right.
like if we had to do it now, it would be a fun novelty. If we had to do it all the time, I'm sure it'd be something to complain about. But now, now, okay, now if the app doesn't work, if we're going to use an app, you get all upset about that. But it's like, look at how they used to have to do it. That's with 165 kilos too. It's not like
Yeah.
oh, well, maybe for that guy it was a routine lift, but for most, um, he made that look easy, didn't he? At
Yeah.
165 off of low blocks. But it's like sometimes you take things for granted and you don't remember how they used to be. And it's like, boy, it's kind of like never been easier than this right now. Like
Yeah.
I could even order my coffee in advance on the app and then drive over there and go get like it's crazy. So it's like even DoorDash, I see because I'm on Reddit now. So I see one of my favorite Reddits is the DoorDash one because I get to read all the horror stories from customers and from people that work at it. So I think I get a complete
Yeah. Yeah.
picture. And it's like the people that complain, it's like, would you want to do that job? Like you wouldn't want to do that job. And you've never in the history of all of this been able to get McDonald's delivered to you. This is such a crazy thing.
It really is.
And in many ways you shouldn't. Like you should have to go get it, but like
Right. Yeah.
if I was doing DoorDash, which I haven't in several years, I wouldn't I wouldn't be bent out of shape if it's now. If it's one thing if it never comes, then we got to figure that out. Let's figure that out together. Give me the refund. And I have seen those stories of where shenanigans. You're gonna have. But the thing is, I'm not putting myself in a situation to have shenanigans be a part of my life.
Exactly.
But it's crazy to I think too that trickles into training and the gym. Everything is so easy now in ways that they weren't, like, I guess more than 20 years ago now. Well, no, 20 years ago was 2006. I don't think we were doing a lot of these things back then. But with the phones and the apps and the services and everything, it's all gotten so crazy, easy, and convenient. But training, you still have to pick up that bar. There's no way around that. But people maybe expect it to be easy. Or do you feel like this whole way that life is now makes it harder for people to, kind of navigate those more difficult times in training and life?
I think so. I mean, it's the classic thing of like everything is so curated. And even so, I mean, we know the influencers and all that. And I think they try their best to do the thing of like, oh, it's not always a highlight reel. Here's me missing all these things. But yeah, I mean, things are hard and they're not Instagrammy and always. And sometimes it's just random little things. And I don't know, there's always just so much out there as well that it glamorizes even the hard, which might help in some instances, but I think everything just looks clean, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
and the hard is supposed to be hard. Sometimes it's so hard that it's like nobody could get footage of this. There's nothing to see. This is just me showing up. And that's really it. Or like, I wouldn't want anyone to see this. Like, I mean, there are those lifters who like post even their misses, but there are probably some stuff that they're like, there's nothing to show here. I missed warm-ups and then like we decided to call it a day and do something else. And, or just like the feeling of like, I'm so beat up right now. And yeah, it's tough when there's so much out there to to kind of get into that idea that, yeah, sometimes training is gonna suck. And it's that thing that we said where it's like it's not always gonna be perfect. And I think with everything out there, even imperfections look kind of perfect. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Well, and the whole social media thing, the dominant form of it is only seeing the successes, and that's when you can start to get like a little jaded with that. And I think it makes it harder for people to take steps back on like, oh, I have to do the full reps. Oh, I have to do the weight or the movement and whatnot. Like, and it's probably something that like RX athletes, once they get certain skills, they start to lose the ability to scale or to want to scale because they view that as not being success because everything they're seeing just flashed in their phone is just people just, you know, living different lives,
yeah,
but it's like if you come to the gym and you have pull-ups, but you're not feeling pull-ups that day, there is nothing wrong. And actually it's probably way better training if you did ring rows that day.
yeah,
But like the people that I've seen over the years do that are few and far between, who like once they get them, they got to do them, like have you ever been in a situation like that? Or have you seen someone where it's like, and then we do see situations where like people who get double unders and get really good at double unders lose the ability to do single unders. And they would rather do a day of frustrating single or double unders when it's just a day they just can't do it. Like neurologically, maybe they're fried. And they'd rather fight with it, swear, throw their rope, get all angry, instead of just be like, in the warm-ups, if it didn't feel good, I'm just gonna do singles today,
right.
or I'm gonna skip today. You do one leg at a time, and I'm just gonna get a good workout today. Like I don't see RX athletes do that a lot or probably enough.
Yeah, agreed. I would even say like with myself, like I'm fine with like even doing weights in a CrossFit workout, but I feel like skills are a little bit harder to do that with because you feel like you've spent so much time to earn it that
Mm.
it almost feels like it's getting taken away from you. But it's like if there are ring muscle ups at a certain volume in class, it's like I know how I do my ring muscle ups, and sometimes maybe it would be better to do a bunch of transitions, especially because I know how to. I think even better because I can do the full ring muscle up that I can do very difficult uh, muscle up transitions, and
Probably
maybe
the
that would
point where
help me.
they're almost like a strict muscle up. Those
Right,
transitions for you.
and help me with that position that I know that I kind of lack on when doing the full thing, especially past a certain volume. But yeah, it's definitely hard to then go back. I think weight is a little bit easier to do because in your mind you're like, I can still do it. It'll just be slower. Whereas something like a pull up or a ring muscle up, you kind of feel like it's taken so much time to like get that movement that it's a little bit harder to go back on with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It feels like it's being taken away from you type of thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it also is like, how do you look at the training as a whole? And like, it's like you know, it's even like people that get upset about the specifics of the workout. It's like, this is one day, dude. Like, we're not going to
Hmm.
do this. Like when people used to get angry about like XYZ workout popping up, it's like, hey, this is just what we're working on today. Not every day is going to be bike, dumbbell snatch, burpee box jump overs, like
Yeah.
that, like this new combo thing. There are going to be unsexy days, but those are still productive days if you put in good work. And it's a pixel of the overall picture of your training, not the whole thing. So it's
Yeah.
like it doesn't make sense to get bent out of shape because of the specifics of the workout, or to feel like something's being taken away from you if it's a day where like you're like, no, I just can't do double unders or I can't do pull ups. It's like, maybe today isn't a day that you're using double unders. It's the day that you're training double unders. And
Yeah.
yes, if you're using them, you are training them, but this is also a different thing. Like you're all right, I'm gonna work on singles, but I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work on my footwork and my power, my jump, or I'm gonna work on my posture. I'm gonna work on a specific thing that will benefit my double unders later. And who knows, maybe that's the thing that I was messing up in practice all the time. I just couldn't get it today, you know. Or same thing with pull-ups or muscle ups. So it's just all about how you look and react to things, and then
Yeah.
try to fix them. And even that is an assessment in the moment. All right, the whatever weak points you have on muscle ups, pull ups, double unders, whatever it may be, on your worst days, they're going to be magnified. So that's an easier use it as like, oh, I'm not having a bad day. I'm having like a assessment day, like a day where my weaknesses are showing themselves and they're speaking to me, and I should listen versus
Yeah.
having a negative attitude about it. So, instead of it being something where like how you feel all the time, all right, I'm not drinking enough water. You come into the gym that one day and you're like, man, I cannot, I forgot how to snatch and whatnot. It's like, all right, well, what's the main error you're doing right now today? And when you're feeling your worst, it's like, that's probably the thing that when it gets heavy or is insidiously there all the time and you can normally overcome it, but you can't right now because you got bad sleep and you had a rough day at work
Yeah.
and a guy cut you off in traffic, and they're out of your favorite ice cream flavor when you went to Whole Foods. Like just all those things kind of help just put a spotlight on what it is you actually need to pay attention to.
Yeah. And I think it's almost a relief, I would say too, to find a place where you're being exposed. Because sometimes progress kind of just stalls and you feel like everything's going the way that it should, or like you're doing everything. And especially when you've been doing something for a long time, it's hard to identify weaknesses. So when you get the opportunity and you get to see something that is most likely the cause of the issue, it should be like the best feeling, because now you have something to identify and something to go after that will then help you along the way. Um, so yeah, sometimes it's the greatest thing that can happen is getting exposed in these. Like if you go to a competition and you're like, wow, I was so close to winning, but I came in a really bad spot in this like endurance workout. And you go, oh, clearly I need to work on my endurance, especially relative to the field. I'm great in all these other things, so I just have to keep on going there. But I know that my focus point is now this. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, circling back to the whole thing of, yeah, why am I feeling this way by noon at work? It's because I'm waking up already in a bad mood, and by the time noon comes around, it's like I'm over it. Instead of starting the day off on a better note, kind of getting to go in with a better attitude and potentially have a better day.
Yeah. And it's like that day when you bomb out or you're having a tough time in training or anything like that, you are now put in a position where you can try to train and sharpen the skill of positive reaction versus negative reaction. Like how you react to things. And I'll just keep using my example of like, okay, I get up there to do the laundry and I don't have enough money on my laundry card. Now I have to go all the way down there. Oh, my my credit card is in my car. Gosh, now I got to go all the way out to my car and get it and then put money on it and come up here and now finally do laundry. It's like, well, my reaction to all that is like, ooh, opportunity for steps, which
Yep.
is so it's like that's how I react to it now. I've trained myself to be like, oh, all right, the concert is there. I couldn't find close enough parking, so I had to park all the way down a half mile away at MVP. I'm going to get a lot of extra steps this way.
Right.
I literally view it as like, oh, I'm getting a bonus. It's not a big deal anymore, any of that stuff. So it's like, so then when I get there, I'm happy about it. Or when I eventually do get my laundry in the thing, I still go back to the rest of my day, like not all bent out of shape because of something that didn't really matter. And
Yeah.
the high level athletes, they're very in tune with how their body feels and stuff like that. So these are also opportunities to like learn how to listen. Like no, like people can tell you to do that and stuff, but like you actually have to. Training does present times, and life presents times where you can like practice learning to listen to your body and what's going on and what you need, and assess things and make a change, or to practice reacting to things in a productive way instead of a negative way.
Yeah.
Like if I'm at a place and some guy bumps into me in the shoulder or whatnot, like I'm never ever gonna turn around and be like, dude, look where you're going. Like never. I'll be like, oh, he maybe didn't see me there because I'm small, anyways. Or maybe he's in a rush. Maybe he's having a bad day. I don't need to make it worse and make it my bad day too. I'm just gonna go on doing what's doing here. But you see, I'm sure you've seen plenty of people like people in bars and stuff, or parties who are like one little thing sets them off, and it's like, did you
Yeah.
come here to fight someone? Like,
Yeah.
was that So it's like you don't need to do things. Or if someone spills their drink on you and they turn around, oh my god, I'm so sorry. They're telling you, oh my god, I'm so sorry. They made a mistake. Be like, it's no problem, man. I'll get a napkin. It's fine. You didn't ruin my night, and I don't need to. I don't need to punish you right now for making a mistake.
Yeah.
Which we also shouldn't punish ourselves for making mistakes too, right? Like Chris just had a good example of that, where he forgot to pack his running shoes for a race that he was going to do. But I was very happy to see that he still ran the race.
Yeah.
I will say I would have been disappointed if he didn't run the race. I would give him some shit about that. That's too soft. That's too soft. That's too. I don't understand that. Like, you're there. Like, run that race. You better run that race.
Yeah.
But I was so happy when I saw that, like, he still did it. Yeah, you can run. You got shoes. There's people out there running races without shoes. Or the newest designer thing. So it's like it's just how you take things and how you practice. What do you think about that? Learning and training positive reaction, and also listening to your body as an athlete. It sounds easy. It's actually very hard.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's necessary to. It's rare that things are going to go exactly to plan. And I was thinking about this too, where I think we're kind of lucky in the sport that there are so many factors. Like, powerlifting is similar in the fact that, if your form isn't correct, like, you will fail lifts. But I mean, I think for weightlifting, we can start failing super early. Like, there are really times where you can't, if your technique is off, you're going to miss a lift. And I think it gives us a better opportunity to work on kind of that adversity and that potential for failing early on. So overall, when we're competing, we know like how to come back from misses and things like that. Whereas I think in something like powerlifting, or if you're just doing machines, you can kind of, it's a little bit harder to just go like, oh, my strength isn't there or whatever. We kind of have to figure out how to get around it, or like how to fix it in a certain way where we might not be maxed out in strength, but our technique is off. So
Yeah.
we have to kind of work with what we've got going on for the day and figure out a way around it. Yeah, like there are days where for me, I'm just a lot less springy, and I have to go, okay, so what do I do today to counteract that? Instead of just going like, well, that's my strength today. I don't have the strength to lift this barbell. It's kind of just, you have to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, remember our first Arnold when Schaff missed all of his warm-ups? and then had to go out there with a fairly heavy opener and hit it. That's
Yeah.
You're going to get days like that. And I think maybe a good strategy in certain situations, not all of them, is just like that's a good story now. That's a classic story now, and Schaff can take that with him for forever. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah, my first Arnold, I literally missed all of my snatches, every single one of them, and I almost killed the two guys behind me sitting in the chair. And then Mike Bergner came out with his giant cowboy hat. It was like, how do you say your name, Schaff? Schaff? You know, it's like you've got a story now. So it's like when stuff happens, it's like, oh, I get to. This is adding to the narrative of this little event, you know.
Right.
And of course I don't want that to happen every time, but like it's just you can start to shape your story that way. Because I imagine if every time something like that happened in training or competition, you always only put the negative on it. What are you going to talk about? Imagine if all your stories are just like doom and gloom like that, instead of being able to laugh about it after the fact, you know. Or even realizing, you know, hey, I chose to do this too.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sometimes, like, I don't know, like, I don't try to get angry about things that I made a conscious decision to do. Like, if I've talked to someone about this before. If I bought a dog, right? If I got a dog, a puppy, and they peed on the floor, they're a baby. A baby animal that can't speak English and knows the difference of floors and not floor peed on the floor because he had to go. I'm not going to be mad at him, you know?
Yep.
Like, yes, I'm going to try to teach them and like, hey, no, go on this little pad and stuff like that. But I also was the one that chose to buy this dog. I didn't have to. I bought a dog. I brought it in here, and then I set things up, and I expected it to know the rules of the house and everything. It's like, no, I have to teach the dog, you know, things like that. Or it's like, that's why like I find coaching kids to be not too bad. Some people hate coaching kids and whatnot, but like I just also realize you're 5. Like what? Like, so I have expectations of a 5-year-old. Like I know you're gonna get crazy. I know this and that. So I'm not gonna let it stress me out, because one thing I do know is if I have 12 7-year-olds, 6 and 7-year-olds, they're feeding off of my energy too, and they're testing you in the way that kids do, maybe on purpose or subconsciously. They're like, what are the limits here with Coach James? I'm gonna find out, you know, and they're gonna keep coming back. They're like wolves; they keep coming back to test the fences, you know. They just got to get shocked a certain amount of times to figure out, all right, we can't get in that way. But it's like, I'm not going to be mad at them. They're not trying to be malicious. I'm nearly 40 and they're 7. Like, and then like I was 7 once, and someone gave me grace and taught me and all those things and had patience with me, and maybe sometimes not. But like, you know, I'm not one. I chose to coach the class, so I put myself in that situation, and I shouldn't expect them to act like a bunch of adults, you know. Even though it's funny, sometimes they are better than the adult classes, and that's just like a funny part of it, of where I've had classes of 6 to 7-year-olds in homeschool for homeschool kids. There's like 12 of them, and they were better behaved and not as crazy as my adult class later on. And I'm like, you guys are worse than the kids earlier today.
Yeah.
But it's just because because like the adults, they turn into big kids when they come to the gym too, and that's why it's like, all right, we got to do this. And then you can get mad about certain things, but also they're coming here because this is their playground, their fun time too. So it's just like, you got to look into like, you put yourself in this situation, and what are realistic expectations for all of it.
Yeah.
I don't get, like, if I'm on a plane and a baby's crying, Miguel, I'm not going to be mad about it. 1, I got these. I came prepared. 2, it's a baby. Babies cry. You can't just look it in the face and be like, stop crying. You're making you're annoying everyone around here, and like that doesn't know the social cues and stuff. So what's going on here? Why am I mad at the baby? Or the parents? You know, like I think that's a classic joke I've heard many comedians say before. It's like, Imagine being the one that has to hold that baby, a crying
Right.
baby on an airplane.
Yeah.
I'm 3 rows back with my headphones on. I wish them well. I wish them well. I'm fine with it. So I think it's just how you, if you can approach, like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Maybe it's a good way to sum it up. And if you approach little things like that negatively and start off on the wrong foot, whatnot, it's going to trickle into your training, and it's going to make training way harder than it needs to be. But if you miss a lift and you're like, missing lifts happens in weightlifting. And I wasn't trying to be the most perfect weightlifter and never miss a lift in my entire career, which I've had athletes that was their expectation, and there'd be tears and stuff after missing lifts. And it's like, no one expected that for you, and you shouldn't have that expectation for yourself. If you're playing tennis, you're going to hit that ball into the net so many times. You are going to miss both serves so many times. And that's just how it is in the frequency of which you're taking them. If you're a boxer, hopefully you don't get knocked out many, many times. That's something that you're trying actively not to do, and that would be a part of the sport where you're like, we have to really readdress this, like normal to miss weights in weightlifting, normal to hit balls in the nets or miss baskets. But if you're getting knocked out a lot, that's something different. Yeah. But it's like, but you need to train yourself how to listen to situations, listen to yourself, and react in positive ways, and kind of view everything as opportunities to improve. Like, okay, it's a bad day today. My weak points are being exposed. This is what I need to do today is figure out how to get better. Not hit my head into the wall.
Yep.
So, a lot of good athlete psychology today.
Yeah.
And even not just athlete psychology, life psychology too. The gym's supposed to make us better for out there,
Yeah.
So it's like,
for sure,
figuring that out in a frustrating sport like the snatch. That's how you get to the point where, the movie line is long and you're just like, that's all right. I'm still going to get in there to see it. Like it helps you figure out all that stuff. We're training for life in the gym, and there are no guarantees. So, any other thoughts on just this kind of whole topic of, I guess, like mindset, positivity?
Yeah, I guess to bring everything together, like the regular assessments of like what's working, what's not working, and I think also the expectation that life isn't perfect, and part of training is also taking care of what you can at the time that you can, because things are going to change. Environments are going to change, circumstances are going to change. And if you can control what you can control and do what you can in the time that you can, then, that's the best way to approach that. You can only do what you can do. And if you're ready for things to potentially take a turn, then you're setting yourself up for the best possible outcome.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Once you start to get it together, and it makes the whole process way more enjoyable when you can kind of put the reins on all these things, and then you start to find yourself enjoying other things. You're on the bus is 5 minutes late. Well, I got to enjoy out here for 5 more minutes. It's fine. But I'm not driving the bus, which is also fine. So cool. Miguel, where can people follow you?
Couldn't be Miguel on Instagram.
Couldn't be Miguel. Follow me, James A. McDermott, Barbell Strikes Back, Albany CrossFit Barbell Club. And we will be back again next week, post Central New York Weightlifting Regional. We just have Alex competing. But I'm going out, Haley's going out, Shaf is going out to volunteer, and Alex is also volunteering. So Alex is doing double duty, so we'll have good club representation doing the whole thing. Yeah. And we'll see what happens. I haven't talked to her yet, but I'm gonna see if Haley wants to, maybe for a session, or maybe even part of a session, announce on the microphone. Like, why not? Like I tried to get her to do it at the last one, but she didn't want to. But it's like, all right, if you're feeling good, practice. Like try something new, a new skill.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing with that is once you do it, it's so much fun being on the microphone at the meets. Like I don't know why people don't want to do it more. I would much rather do that than ref or load, because those are the hard or incredibly boring jobs. It's speaking and marshaling is where it's at. That's a lot of fun, because you're just always doing something. There's never any kind of like waiting 2 minutes and falling asleep and then I gotta watch this lift, or even having the responsibility of like no lift, and just doing that part. So we'll see how it goes, and then Frank is running the meet along with the people at Ithaca Weightlifting. So good luck to all of them. It should be a fun time.
Yeah.
And that same day, Josh from Albany CrossFit is doing his mini triathlon sprint. Are you going to go out there to watch Josh do it and see everything?
No, I mean, I got the whole wedding weekend coming back running around. So I'll have I'll have a full weekend, but yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Awesome. Well, I will talk to you tomorrow because you're going to, I think, be in class Monday. Awesome. Well, we will talk again next week. Let me end the stream here.